Welcome to SVGTV's news for Wednesday, December 15th, 2021. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. 127.2 million EC dollars have been allocated to the Ministry of Transport and Works, Lands and Surveyor in the 2020 budget estimates. The allocation will see some major road works carried out across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Furthermore, some 8.4 million will go towards rebuilding and recovery of communities directly affected by the eruption of La Soufrière volcano. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister responsible for Transport and Works, Montgomery Daniel, said 6 new programs have been identified for the 2022 period for mainland and the Grenadines.
Grenadines road rehabilitation, there's a sum of $500,000 there allocated for consultancy study for the upgrade of the road network in Beckway, Canawan, Union Island and Mayo. This is very important, I believe, to the opposition leader and the member for the Southern Grenadines. A sum of $2 million allocated for the improved access road at the beach resort Bookament. There is under sub-account number 552206 the construction of a shedding facility at a cost of some $500,000. Of course, Madam Speaker, this is a project that is long awaited, that a sum of $1 million have been allocated to the reallocation, or that's the relocation of the concrete and asphalt plant that is at Argyle.
Minister Daniel said there will also be new employment positions available which will benefit the physical infrastructure department.
Engineering and project management services. We actually got 3 positions. 2 engineers, 1 electrical and 1 mechanical, and 1 senior engineering assistant. And I want to commend the Minister and the Ministry of Finance for giving us 6 new positions under policy planning and administration, where we would have 5 new school bus drivers and 1 other driver for the electrical inspectorate. Although we need a little bit more than 5 school bus drivers, but we are satisfied that we can fill that gap with 5 new drivers at this time.
Minister Daniel further noted that this year several rehabilitative work on roads and bridges were delayed as precedence had to be given to the areas affected by the volcanic eruption. Of concern was the COAT-funded project, which Minister Daniel said had the intervention of Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, and works will restart early in the new year.
3 meetings within the last 3 weeks to have this matter resolved. And I'm happy to see that KDL, the contractor who would have been given the contract, that they have indicated and given all the assurances that the problems that existed, that they have overcome those problems and that work will commence on these roads early January.
And in his wrap-up of the 2022 budget estimates presentation, Minister of Finance Camila Gonsalves said that the upcoming budget, which will be presented on January 3rd, 2022, contains fresh initiatives never before seen for humanitarian response to the COVID-19 pandemic and the April eruptions of La Soufrière volcano.
In digital transformation, in some of those blue economy items that I mentioned, it includes never-before-seen investments in resilience. It includes initiatives on coastal and river protection. It includes money never before spent in technical and vocational education. So the honorable member can call it incrementalist, but I would venture to say that it is transformative.
Responding to the concern of the opposition leader of the amount allocated in the estimates for the development of fisheries sector, Minister Gonsalves noted that the opposition chastised the government for having a paltry amount, but he misunderstood the allocation.
$100,000, but $1.3 million for the enhancement of the tuna industry. But that apparently missed the attention of the Honorable Leader of the Opposition. Similarly, in the same capital budget, in the same section under the Ministry of Agriculture, there's $1 million for agricultural production support. And when you read it, it says to provide support to farmers and fishers. And similarly, it appears that also missing the Honorable Leader of the Opposition was the money allocated for the Barley Blackfish facility, which is also part of the blue economy and is a multi-million-dollar investment. And I would excuse the Honorable Leader of the Opposition for missing, because we haven't explained it fully in the appropriation debate, that a portion of the $24.4 million in the VEEP, the Volcano Explosive Emergency Explosive Program.
The Ministry of Agriculture has seen significant rise in the price for fertilizers locally over the last 2 years. On NBC Radio's face-to-face program this morning, Minister of Agriculture Saboto Caesar said next year, under the Community Agriculture Program, the ministry will be taking steps to ensure farmers benefit from more reasonable prices.
That a discussion must take place very early in the new year with the traffickers, because the farmers can't take all the burden. If there's an increase in the price of fertilizer, it has to eventually be passed on to the consumer. It has to be passed on to the consumer. And if it's passed on to the consumer, you have to have a fair process whereby the money comes back to the farmer.
Fair enough.
Because, and I'm not saying that this is what will happen, if we ensure that the cost of the goods is now reflective of the increase in the cost of fertilizer, you don't want, when it's coming back down, it's stopped either at the trafficker or some kind of middleman in Trinidad and Tobago or in Barbados. It has to come down to the farmer, and that is one of the big discussions we're going to have when we have the community agriculture programs.
Minister Caesar made it that the increase in the price of fertilizers has nothing to do with any government policy.
Is involved in the movement of goods internationally. A significant rise in the price to move goods, and the movement of the fertilizer and the different products that are used to blend it to make the fertilizer. The price, the cost of transportation has definitely gone up, and because of that, we are seeing, we have witnessed, I think, over $25 increase in the price of fertilizer over the last 2 years. And the question is, because we are price takers, we basically have to hope that either we see a plateauing of the prices for the services of transportation, or that it starts to be reduced, and we have to hope that there isn't further inflation, because we just have to take it.
The Agriculture Minister further commended traffickers for their tremendous work in ensuring local agricultural produce continue to be exported amidst the challenges of COVID-19.
That if the traffickers did not create a relationship over the years with the people they're selling to in Trinidad, in Barbados, in Antigua, St. Kitts, these are different islands, then when they could not physically go, they would not have been able to move product.
Right.
And on a Monday morning, when you go down to the port, there's no space for you to park under the geese shed, because the whole place is full with produce. This week is a big week in the trade between St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Trinidad and Tobago, because the sweet potatoes, the dasheen, the yams, the different produce would have to go down to to ensure that we supply the market in Trinidad and Tobago. And I want to really commend the traffickers for their work and their dedication. As I said earlier, we have a lot of work to do with the stabilization of the marketing arrangement and for the traffickers to be better positioned to pass on more money to the farmers.
Meanwhile, Caesar is appealing to all farmers and fishers across SVG to get vaccinated.
The farmers and the fishers, I don't want you to say that, well, it's mountain I just go, it's on a boat I just be, I don't be around people. I don't want to take the vaccine because, I mean, I in my own zone. Right. No. And I am hearing also from a group of farmers and fishers, particularly those within the age group between 60-65, you know, they said to me, Minister, I don't pass, my children don't pass the worst, man. I know you love me and you want me to take the vaccine, and the vaccine is a good thing, but I don't too old for that, man. I believe that within the farming communities in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that group of persons, that they need to embrace more the vaccine, because it is the science that we have, and it is the science that we are advocating.
The Ministry of Education's music department brought Christmas cheer to capital Kingstown today with Christmas caroling by students from various schools. The activity also forms part of the launch of the school's COVID-19 campaign through music. The activity, which was held at the post office parking lot, saw performances by some 5 schools. Education Officer for Music, Dexter Baca, said the event was also held to uplift the spirit of the students who have had a challenging year.
We launch our concert to showcase the talents of students at the secondary level. The whole objective is to give the children a chance to get back to a bit of normalcy during this COVID pandemic and all the disruption caused by dengue and the eruption. And also we are today launching our schools campaign, COVID-19 awareness campaign through music. So schools were given the opportunity to create jingles. These jingles would be professionally edited and be played on radio and television starting from January. But today some of those jingles were highlighted.
Senior Education Officer Aldia Gums-Dyer lauded the organizers for putting on such a timely event, noting that the skills and talents of students island-wide must be harnessed and showcased at every opportunity.
Very excited that the music department was able to bring this event to reality because, you know, at a time like now, our children are in virtual school. Some of them are in blended mode. And because they are not in the usual face-to-face, it's really difficult to bring them together to do these type of activities. In addition to that, persons tend to focus on what they call the academic subjects, and many of these skills-based subjects are suffering. So we are very happy that educators have come together today to give the arts some priority and to show what is happening in our schools and what our children are capable of.
Here are some snippets from the students' performances. The unique Vincentian 9-morning celebrations before Christmas Day is all set to start tomorrow morning at 4 o'clock at Victoria Park on the strict COVID-19 protocols. The infrastructure and logistics were being finalized today when our news team visited the new venue. Chairman of the National Nine Mornings Committee, Randy Bomarney Charles, reminded persons that the festival is a vaccinated, a virtual event which is free, and explained the designated entrances and exits and what is to expect when you show up at the gates.
Asked to show their QR codes, vaccination cards. They'll check with the nurses that will be there. Once they're cleared, they'll be ushered to the exit, the entrance, just in the middle here. And they're in. Right? If you want to get out at any particular time during the morning, you can take one of the exits that be available. We're just asking persons to adhere to all of the protocols that are advanced by the Ministry of Health. Of course, it's a vaccinated event. The ministry has been kind enough to allow persons under 18 to show up with a negative antigen. That lasts for about 24 hours, and that would allow them access to not just 9 mornings but at 9 nights at the Botanical Gardens. Children under 4 can assume the vaccinated status of their parent or guardian once they're in a family bubble. If it's more than one child, say 3 or 4 children, when at least one child would be required to be tested.
A packed program of activities is planned for the Nine Mornings Festival, which will be held under the theme A Festival of Lights, Hope in a Darkened World. Charles said he is satisfied with the response from communities who expressed the desire to participate in this year's festival despite the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. He said new competitions have been added to this year's festival.
As we've been promoting over the last 4 months or so, we've been trying to get the best of the community acts from across St. Vincent and the Grenadines to join us here at Victoria Park, and that's pretty much been organized. So there'll be a variety of cultural presentations in terms of performances from some of your heavy hitters for Christmas music, and the spontaneity that 9 Mornings is known for. We're inviting our persons who come to the festival, who are here, to participate and to have that spontaneity. Lots of fun games. There's a sports package. There's new competitions in terms of like the Bring Your Song and Come, which is very popular. Our judges will be out and about looking for things like the best Christmas costume, best Christmas wear outfit, best push cart and lighted bicycle, that kind of stuff. And the package has been put together to ensure that it's clean, wholesome, fun, that 9 Mornings has been known for over the years.
Members of the National Nine Mornings Committee, Sean Fredericks and Jason Mason, have worked tirelessly to help with the preparation for this year's festival. And they are pleased with the work they put in so that patrons can have a clean fun throughout the festival.
Different location and
it wasn't really much more difficult. It's just really a little more thought. We'd have had to go into like where you put what. We know also we have the Ministry of Health. We are sharing the venue with them. So to compress our stuff in one area, it required a little more thought. But it wasn't really difficult for us.
And we have received a lot of calls in reference to persons who have new Christmas songs that they want to showcase to the rest of the world. And we're going to, sometimes you sit down and you think a person has to come to you. This time around we had to actually engage persons more and encourage them, because what's going on in our world today in terms of the pandemic, and we just experienced the eruption of last February, a lot of persons still need that extra motivation, and we wanted to provide that to them.